Hello folks, thank you for joining me. Today we're going to talk a little bit about taping. I went over in the last video. I had spoken about the tools that will be needed. Today we're actually going to put some mud on the wall and go through the process. I have three joints here. We have our flat, we have our vertical or inside corner, and we have our cap, which is where the ceiling meets the wall. And we're also going to go over a little bit about how to handle the mud once it's in your pan. Alright, we're going to start with the flat here. Now, to start with the flats, what you want to do is keep everything organized. Now, I usually fill up the pan a little bit more than this when I'm doing a full house, but I never fill up the pan all the way because it just gets too heavy and then the compound just starts falling out of the pan. Alright, to get the compound out of the pan, what you want to do is you want to drag the one corner of the knife and to the corner, and you'll end up getting just a little triangle of mud on the wall or onto the knife. Then you take it to the wall. Now you want to start with the high side. All right, I work backhand, so the high side has all the mud on it because gravity is going to pull the mud down to the bottom of the knife as you go. You start till it just touches the wall, and then you slowly go down. All right, so we'll start that again. And you go just like butter and toast. And again, you want to keep everything as organized as possible. So you take it to the corner, ease it out, and you got the mud on the wall. Now the most important thing with taping is you never want to go back to the wall with a dirty knife. So after you do everything, get compound, clean the knife. Every stroke you take, clean the knife. Alright, then we take our tape. Now I use the sharp corner of the knife and I'll put it right in the center of the seam. Alright, so you put it in the center of the seam, hold it with your knife, then you take your thumb and you put it right on the crease of the tape. So you go out, so say the wall's longer than you have reach, you take your thumb and you can feel, just by pushing your thumb in the wall, you can feel the seam. And you follow with your knife. So you work down the wall and you go back out. And you take the knife, stick it in a corner and tear your tape off. And clean your knife. Alright, now you always want to start in the direction that you ran the tape. Otherwise you'll get creases and crinkles. So what I'll do is I'll start about arm's reach out, 2 feet or so, and I'll go with the knife. Now here's a little trick that a lot of people miss. With the compound that's on the knife, put it back on the tape. What it does is it'll lubricate the tape as you go down and makes it a little easier to squeeze out. And then clean everything up. Now what you want to do is you want to make sure you're squeezing out as much material as you can on your first coat. Alright, you still want to have that recess on your first coat. All the first coat is doing is applying your tape. And you're going to let it dry. Depending upon the temperature, probably dry overnight, depending upon the temperature and humidity as well. It'll dry overnight for you. Alright? Now, let's do a vertical or an inside corner. Again, you come, drag the knife down the edge, and you get just a little bit of knife, a little compound in the corner of the knife. And just like the flat, you start and you ease it out. You butter one side all the way down. Now, to do the other side, you take the opposite side of the knife and you go to the corner again. This way you have the compound on the opposite side of the knife. And you go all the way down the wall. When you get to the bottom, you switch sides and you work your way up. Now, again, I mentioned the crease in the tape. Now you fold the tape to get right on that crease. Take the corner of your knife and stick it in the corner. Hold it with the knife, crease the tape as you pull it out, and push it in the corner with the knife. Take that all the way down. Now, if this were an 8-foot ceiling, obviously I can't reach an 8-foot ceiling. So what I end up doing is I'll run the tape wild. I'll run the tape all the way to the top corner of where it meets the ceiling. And I'll go back later on when I'm on my stilts to fill in the compound that's missing. You can just pull the tape down and fill in the compound that you need to fill in and bring it up. This way you have one continuous line of tape. When you put seams in the tape, sometimes it'll make bumps and it makes it a little harder to second coat and polish it and make it disappear. Now for cleaning the compound out, because you can't leave it like that, you go in the direction that you pull the tape out. And you start with one side. When you get to the bottom, you just curve it a little bit. You just swoop the knife up and you can pull the compound out. When you do the other side. And you come back up. And again, every time you take the knife off the wall, clean the knife. Don't go back to the wall with a dirty knife. The gentleman that taught me how to tape stood over top of me and said, clean the knife all day long. Alright, now if I'm doing a whole entire house, I like to have a routine. I like everything to become mechanical. So what I'll do is I always start off with my flats. That's the seam here. So you start with the flats and you work your way all the way around the house. If there's 2 doors in a room, you skip 1 door and keep on working around the walls. This way you'll do all the flats in the house. Next you come back and you do all your verticals. Now as you do your verticals, there's no sense in walking from this corner to that corner and not be doing something. Well, you have your screws. So as you're walking from one flat or one corner to another corner, you take care of the lower screws. Now there's 2 ways you can do that. Put a little bit of compound, just a little bead of compound on the knife. And put the compound on there and take it off. Now the only compound you want to leave is the compound in where the screw is, the recess of the screw. The second way you can do it is you put about the same amount of compound on the knife. You start at the bottom, putting the corner of the knife against the wall, and you work your way up the wall. This takes care of all 3 screws in one shot. It's much quicker, but it does take a little bit of practice. And it goes back to why I cut my knife shorter. Gives you a lot more control over the knife. Alright, since this isn't an 8-foot ceiling, I'll do all the screws. Again, I'm taking all the compound except for where the compound is in the screws. Alright, then you have your caps, or where the ceiling meets the wall. What you're going to do is just like you did the inside corners, Put a little bit of compound on the corner of the knife. Start and go as far as it goes. Now you see there's a little gap here where the sheetrock doesn't quite go all the way up. So what I'll do is I'll fill that up a little bit. Anytime that there's no compound in contact with the tape, you'll end up getting an air pocket or a blister. And then you have to fix that before you can do your second coat. The problem is it doesn't show up until you put your second coat on. So you end up cleaning the compound off and fixing the blister and going on with your second coat. So it's best to try to avoid them before they happen. Alright. Again, pull the tape out, put your crease in it, put it right here on the edge, and work your way out. Now all this just takes a lot of practice. You really need to get the muscle memory of how the knife works and how to get the compound out of the pan. It just takes a little bit of time. Again, you always want to go with your first clean in the direction that you laid the tape. Alright, I just started to clean on that little bit of edge, and that's enough to keep the tape solid and it won't crinkle on you. It'll bunch up in one spot and then you end up pulling the tape and messing around with it. Alright. After you do that one little bit, you can go back and clean. Now, it's important to know, now I had that little gap right there, so I don't want to be putting a lot of pressure against the wall when I'm cleaning. I just want it to ride on a knife. All my pressure is going up, so I can clean everything out of here. Make sure this corner is nice and neat. And there you have it. Now you have my first coat of compound on a small section of wall here. Now you let that dry and come back and do the second coat. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned a lot. If you did, hit the like button, and you can also subscribe because I'll have a lot more videos coming along after this. Alright, enjoy your day. Bye.